Nigerians are beginning to be apprehensive of another regime of rising debt. The government came up with a Fiscal Responsibility Act, which should serve as a check on itself on borrowing. But this doesn't seem to have worked any magic. Nigeria's current external debt profits from the World Bank and affiliate bodies, the African Development Bank, and other multilateral bodies stood at $5.9 billion as at March 31st, 2012. A more worrisome domestic debt profile from federal government bonds, treasury bills, and treasury bonds stood at $37.5 billion, or about 6 trillion naira, as at May 31st, 2012. Nigeria's debt profile as at 2000 was 898.3 billion naira. Nigeria's debt profile in 2007 was as high as 2.16 trillion naira, and in 2012 is 6 trillion naira. And if you see the graph from 2007 to 2012, it's an astronomical increase.
This is crucifixion for private sector, and I'm glad that Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala has promised that she does intend to bring this figure down in 2015 over a period of 3 years to just over $3 billion. It's going to be magic, but she's associated with carrying out magic. The domestic debt profile rises because most parastatal heads do not come to purpose in dealing with the debts that are left by their predecessors.
This has caused a lot of apprehension that even the National Assembly recently asked for an enforcement of the Fiscal Responsibility Act by requesting President Goodluck Jonathan to send a bill within 60 days of May 1st, 2012, pegging borrowings. Rather, the executive wants to do more borrowings of $7.9 billion from the Islamic Development Bank and Exim Bank of China.
Those institutions you just mentioned are not, in the real sense, lenders. These are politically tuned institutions who, when you engage with them, they give you facilities on a very liberal term, a term that's not available anywhere on the market.
But the central government is not the only guilty party. State governments and sometimes local governments have fallen for this excessive borrowing syndrome.
The excessive borrowing being committed by states with no watch on them, that I disagree with. Should not be allowed to sustain, should be stopped, actually. How will this stop states from borrowing? The issue is not about borrowing. The issue is about judicious application of what was borrowed to energizing the economy.
Spain and Greece are present examples, and these economies have affected the bloc economy of the Eurozone. Economists say that it is almost impossible to run a government afloat without borrowing. So, when does borrowing become a burden to a nation?
That when the total borrowing, which is domestic and external, over your income comes to a factor of 4, that all those 250 economies defaulted.
I think there's a general agreement that we cannot continue borrowing to finance, especially with current expenditure, and it's unsustainable. Especially when you look at the revenue base of the government.
We are not for this issue of excessive borrowing, which is the reason that we are crafting the budget the way we are doing to reduce and get us back to a more sustainable level.
Obviously, with the finance minister's call for prudence, there may be a headway for Nigeria's borrowing trend, but many fear the greed of political juggernauts may overshadow her strength of purpose for fiscal responsibilities.
She's a rugged woman, and I can tell you that. She will fight her way, and she makes it very clear that she wants to argue her case.
Borrowings to fund current expenditure must stop. It is only then Nigerians can be sure of a better future, not only for the children today, but for those unborn. Remember, those who go a borrowing, go a sorrowing. In Memory, Uhemokai, AIT News, Abuja.